No clickbait, this little critter actually bit me. Spider defecation also featured in this episode. Today's film, as you've noticed from the thumbnail title and what's wriggling between my fingers, will be about cross spiders. This is a cross spider, a type of spider. There are also cross screwdrivers, Teutonic Knights, and Crusaders. We won't be dealing with history today because I'm totally bad at it. I won't be talking about the Crusaders, the Teutonic Knights, or those guys who stole Pomerania. Today we will be talking about a spider, or rather spiders, because cross spider is not a term for just one species of spider, but several, or even I would say dozens of species, which what's more are gathered not in one, but in 3 genera. Let's start with what cross spiders are, because I think everyone, or almost everyone, has heard this name of spiders, and more or less associates it with a spider with a cross on its abdomen, right? That's the general association when it comes to cross spiders. This is largely true, but not entirely, as not all cross spiders have a cross on their abdomen. The whole family of Orb-Weavers, because there is such a family which is called Orb-Weavers or Araneus, it gathers about 3,000 species, something like that. Worldwide there are about 50 in Poland. All the Orb-Weavers belong to this family. This family also includes the striped lynx, which you could admire in the previous and several other films. So in general, this whole family gathers spiders that have certain common features, and that's why they were, well, assigned to this family, specifically to the family of Orb-Weavers. We will basically call spiders from 3 genera Orb-Weavers. And now look, there is an analogy. There is the family of Orb-Weavers, that is Araneidae. So an Orb-Weaver will be an Araneus. And indeed, most Orb-Weavers belong to the genus Araneus, and it is the spiders from this genus that we will call Orb-Weavers. Additionally, there is something like the genus Larinioides, and here, for example, is a species like Larinioides cornutus, and in Polish it is called a water orb-weaver, if I remember correctly. The genus Larinioides includes orb-weaver spiders. However, not all species in this genus have Polish names. Even those that occur in Poland do not all have Polish names because they simply have not been assigned. And to complete all this, there is something like the genus Araniella, and the genus Araniella includes, among others, a species like the green orb-weaver, which is actually green. Here you have its picture. However, both the genus Araniella and the genus Larinioides, which you can also see, there is a film about a spider from the genus Larinioides. Here you have somewhere at the top, I don't know, a link. We will not deal with it today. Today we will focus on the genus Araneus, of which I have here the representative and probably the most popular representative. It is Araneus diadematus, the garden spider. Interestingly, the garden spider does not always occur in the garden, in the sense that it does not only occur in gardens, as the name would suggest. We can find the garden spider where I found this female, that is in forest clearings, and not only because in orchards, precisely in gardens, among others too. But generally it is a very common species, very popular, probably the most common of all from the genus. And it is found practically everywhere. We can really even find it in big cities. And here I will of course release this spider as soon as the film is recorded and everything is done. Look, it's sitting here. This is really a big, powerful female. Look at her. She's almost like my fingertip. For now, I keep her in such a wooden aviary. She made an elegant circular web here, typical of Orb-Weavers, which are known for their intricate web designs. They have a web, usually one plane, so just the most famous radial circular, something like that. And this female just made such a web here. At the moment she is outside, because I rudely kicked her out. Well, nothing, and she just sits here in such a dwelling. Interestingly, speaking of this female, I managed to record how she hunts, right? I managed to record it, and you will see it soon. And secondly, how she poops, so the spider's defecation will also be in this episode. Let's go back to the cross spiders. This female, as you can see, she is quite large, she is quite nicely colored, and there is what is most characteristic perhaps for the garden cross spider, namely the cross, such a white cross composed of spots, blobs, dots on the abdomen, which by the way is incredibly plump. But as it turns out, the garden cross spider is not the most plump species when it comes to all cross spiders. Cross spiders in Poland are diverse, and some of them are phenomenally colored. For example, there is Araneus quadratus, which is quite nice and fairly common. I have a position on it. Maybe I can choose it either this year or next year. We also have an incredibly beautiful species of cross spider in Poland, which is called Araneus halsane. This is an orange cross spider. Unfortunately, I still haven't found it, and the coloring is truly phenomenal. It is actually all orange-red with such white or yellow dots. And there is also something like Araneus marmorius, which is quite popular and can have very different colors. And here I will show you such a marble coloration which I really like, but I just haven't been able to find such a specimen yet. Many of these orb weavers include Quadratus, Marmoris, Diadematus, and Alcine. They are, at least the females, quite plump because in orb weavers there is something called sexual dimorphism, and this sexual dimorphism is quite large, meaning the females are indeed large, they are very massive, they are thick and grow to quite large sizes, which you can see on the example of this specimen, and the males are much slimmer, they are smaller in body, and sometimes it happens that they have a larger leg span. This analogy is similar to tarantulas, but not those from the genus Pamphobatius. Females are much larger in body and more compact, while males are smaller in body but can achieve a larger leg span. Okay, I've said about the appearance. Exactly. Speaking of appearance, as you can see, there is an incredible variability in coloration among cross spiders, and even in the garden cross spider, which is what I have here, it is such that not all individuals are the same, even among individuals living in the same area, the same population. And here you have a few examples of what they can look like. My female tarantula has a nice brown color with striped legs and a well-defined cross pattern. However, there is significant variability in coloration among individuals, ranging from much darker to lighter and from less to more defined patterns. As for the lifestyle, I managed to record how this spider hunts, and here you have an example of how it wraps its prey, very much like the striped tiger does, and you've seen such feedings before. What do such cross spiders hunt for? Well, they hunt for flying insects that get caught in their web, for example, I don't know, grasshoppers any. So when such an insect gets tangled in the web of a cross spider, the cross spider rushes over because it immediately knows where in the web its prey is. It wraps it, bites it, and the venom works, and the prey is killed, consumed, because as we know, the venom is used to dissolve the body of the prey so they can suck it out, right? No? As spiders are predators. Of course, not all spiders are predators. 100%. That's also an interesting fact, but maybe that's a topic for a separate video. Anyway, well, cross spiders are simply predators. They hunt and feed on the liquid flesh of insects. And yes, speaking of venom, I think we can move on to the part that I suspect some of you are most interested in, because yes, that female bit me yesterday, twice. Can you believe it? I was bitten twice, and it's also somewhat my fault because I did something I shouldn't have done. I mean, I chose the wrong sequence of actions. Oh, in this way. Generally, the sequence was that I first recorded this spider. Some close-ups, then I recorded the feeding, and then I wanted to record some of these shots of how I have the females on my hand. On hands, on hands. And the problem was that I wanted to record this scene on my hands right after feeding when she hadn't finished eating yet, which was a bit bad on my part and a bit stupid, and I just drove these females outside the net. I took her in my hand, and she probably didn't realize that this is no longer her cage, not her net, and not her food. Because another interesting thing is that after all this taking in hand, when I threw her back on the net, she immediately returned to eating, so that was cool too. I'm not sure if she remembered hunting something or just knew that the dead, unmoving cockroach in her net was still food. Clever little animals. I picked up this female creature and suddenly felt a sting on my thumb. A pinch? I looked and saw the bugger was biting me. Then I pushed her a little bit so she wouldn't bite me anymore. She moved a bit further and bit me again. I decided to wait a moment. I put her down, and when I picked her up again later, everything was okay. By then, she realized that it's not food but my hand, meaning the substrate. As for the effects of the bite, because I probably can't show you that because there's practically no trace of it, but the bite itself was like a small pinprick. Well, it's hard to call it pleasant, but it didn't carry any consequences. I felt a burning at the beginning, and then a small red bubble appeared, and that's basically where it ended. After half an hour, there was no trace of the bite, so it's not like our cross spiders are deadly. Here it was my fault and that she bit me. That's how it turned out. Rest assured, handling a cross spider is completely safe. They don't actively seek out humans as prey. As I mentioned, it was partly my fault, and the spider is completely harmless anyway. It feeds on insects, so it hunts insects, and besides, it's very pretty. Additionally, this female is really powerful. I've seen hundreds, if not thousands, of cross spiders in my life. And this one is definitely one of the largest when it comes to this species, which is the garden cross spider. This pretty female will be returned to the meadow I took her from, and it'll be cool, right? For now, she's just trotting around here, not harming or trying to bite me at all. Another thing that is very characteristic of cross spiders is the way they are often positioned on their web. This trait is characteristic of cross spiders as they extend their first two pairs of walking legs far in front of them, seemingly joined together. In such a position we can find in cross spiders, in tiger spiders, in other cross spiders, and well, you can also recognize them by this, not only by this, but also, for example, by the arrangement of the eyes, by the shape of the cephalothorax, that the spider belongs to the family of cross spiders or does not belong to this family. It's cool how it descends on its thread and does a bit of bungee jumping. Because generally cross spiders outside their web are terribly clumsy. They are not like tarantulas that they can walk and jump very gracefully. Absolutely not. Such a cross spider feels best on its web. It can move very gracefully on it, but on flat surfaces it is rather well clumsy and a bit of a klutz. But as you can see, it manages even here when it has its web stretched between my fingers. Oh, so it can practically levitate, as you can see. Tarararara. And it pulls itself up. Oh no, it crawled onto my camera. Oh no. Do you see how it pulls itself up and makes such a roll? Oh, and it's already on my hand. Okay, let's put it down. It has its web here, but I think the web was destroyed when I threw a cockroach in there. Well, go ahead, buddy. Oh, you see, the web is still stretching. My fingers are just sticky. Tragedy. Nice little spider, very nice female. Here is the remnant of that cockroach that she ate. We might feed her again today. Alright, we're closing this. You wanted a film about cross spiders? There was one. If possible, I'll record films about other cross spiders too. The main character here was a garden cross spider, but we have many other nicely colored, interesting cross spiders. But that's a topic for future films. Hope you liked it. See you in the next episodes. See you and bye.